Hi guys, welcome to the 6th week of our lesson, and today we shall consider real-life problems involving conic sections. And before we start, please prepare your calculator for this session. Our learning objective for today is for us to be able to solve situational problems involving conic sections. Okay, we consider our first problem that is involving parabola. Okay, together we read. The cable of a suspension bridge hangs in the shape of a parabola. Okay, for example, if you haven't been to St. Mary's University Tonus Gymnasium, this is how it looks whenever we have mass or gathering, for example. So, for example, this is our bench. Ito. And then we try to construct a suspension bridge just like in, for example, San Francisco. So we try to connect these two benches in a suspension bridge. And the parts of a suspension bridge are, we have first the tower and of course the cable. Okay, for example, the towers of the supporting cable are 400 feet apart and 100 feet high. Take note here, class, that for this problem, pag sinabi natin 150 feet high, that is from the bridge. And connecting these two benches, for example, this is our bridge. We construct our two towers that is 150 feet high from the bridge. And they are 400. And our cables, of course, so we have cable and cable. Okay, for example, this is our suspension bridge from one of the benches to another bench of the Father Tonus Gymnasium. We go back to our problem. If the cable is at its lowest is 30 feet above from the bridge at its midpoint, how high is the cable 50 feet away from either of the tower? Ay, isa-isahin natin. If the cable at its lowest, for example, on this point, this is at its lowest, is 30 feet o 30 feet high. Okay, ang hinahanap natin dito, how high is the cable 50 feet away from either of the tower? For example, hanapin natin kung gaano kataas yung cable if it is 50 feet from either tower. For example, at this point, kukunin natin. And this is 50 feet. Okay, for our problem, we try to represent our bridge as our x-axis, vertical axis passing through the lowest point of the cable wire. Okay, so that is your x and this is y. So since meron tayong background about parabola, we know that if the parabola opens upward and the vertex is located at any point, the general form of equation is x minus h squared equals 4p multiplied by y minus k. Since na ito, yung point na yan, that will be considered as our vertex. Therefore, the given vertex is located at 0, positive 30. And we consider a specific point on the cable. If that is 400, yung distance from one tower to another, ibig sabihin, yung distance from this vertex until one of the cable towers is 200 feet, which means that if this is point P has a coordinate of 200 and you have 150. Okay, that is our given point. That is your h and k. This is x and y. So we can now substitute these given points on our general form of equation to get the value of p. So we have x, which is 200 minus the value of h, which is 0 squared, equals 4p multiplied by, okay, that is y, which is 150 minus 30. Next, simplifying, we have 200 squared equals 4p multiplied by the difference of 150 and 30, which is 120. Next, solving for the value of p, we can divide both sides by 4 times 120, which is 480. And then you have 480. Next, simplifying, again, use your calculator. That is 200 squared divided by 480, which is equal to 250 all over 3. That is now the value of P. Okay, next, ang tinatanong sa atin is the y-coordinate. This particular point is 50 feet away from the cable tower, and this is 200. Ibig sabihin, at this point, that is 150. So we're trying to identify the value of y when x is equal to 150. Since p equals 250 all over 3, the general equation is x, o 0 na yon, so we have x squared is equal to 4 times, we have 250 all over 3 multiplied by y minus, we have 30. Okay, so this is now our equation. So we have identified the value of y when x is equal to 150. So using our same equation, so we have x squared equals 4 times 250, which is 1,000 all over 3 multiplied by y minus 30. Substituting our given here sa taas, we have 150 squared equals 1,000 all over 3 multiplied by y minus 30. Next, manipulating, since this is fraction, we can cross multiply. So we have 150 squared multiplied by, okay, so wala to ha. So we have multiplied by 3 all over 1,000 equals y minus 30. Next, we try to transpose negative 30 to the other side. So we have 150 squared multiplied by 3 all over 1,000 equals y. And using your calculator, therefore, the value of y is 97.5. If the cable is 50 feet from the tower, then it must be 97.5 feet from the bridge. Okay, we proceed with problem number 2, and again, this involves a parabola. Okay, problem number 2. A satellite dish has a shape of a paraboloid. So this satellite dish here is what we call the paraboloid, where each cross-section, so when we say cross-section, so for example, hatiin natin yung sa gitna at titignan natin yung side view niya, side view. So pag nakikita natin yung side view niya, that is a parabola. So for example, we try to draw the side view. Ayan. So ito yung side view na, that is a parabola. Since radio signals which are parallel to the axis, so for example, kung nakikita niyo yung mga cable disc ng, for example, SkyDirect or GSAT and so on and so forth. So, parang ganito yung itsura niya. Since the radio signals, or for example, sa TV, airwaves, will bounce to the surface, to the dish, to the focus. So, for example, pag nare-receive niya yung mga radio waves or air waves, it will bounce back to a certain point, which we call here as, of course, we have the focus. How far should the receiver be from the vertex if the dish is 12 feet across and 12 feet deep at the vertex? For example, if we consider this as our parabola and we draw here as our x-axis, so imagine nyo yun parang nakatagilid. So for example, nakaganyan. So that is your x-axis and this is your y-axis. So, ang tinatanong, gaano daw dapat kalayo yung focus natin if the dish is 12 feet across? Ibig sabihin, on this part until this part, this is 6 feet. Hahatiin natin yan. And 4.5 deep. So, for example, this is 4.5 feet deep. Okay, if this is our given parabola and the given vertex is located at the point of origin, our general form is x squared equals 4py. And since meron tayong particular point dyan, that is P located at, we have 6 and 4.5, we can make use of this point in our general form. So we have 6 squared equals 4p multiplied by 4.5. Next, manipulating our given equation. So we have 6 squared equals 4 times 4.5. Pwede natin i-divide yan. So we have P divided by 4 times 4.5 and then 4 times 4.5. Therefore, using your calculator, what is, okay, so that is equal to 2. Therefore, P is equal to 2. Our given equation then is x squared equals 4 times 2y, or that is x squared is equal to 8y. However, ang tinatanong sa atin is the location of the focus. And we know that if this is our given equation, the focus is located at 0 and positive p, or simply, our focus is located at 0 and positive 2. Therefore, the focus must be 2 feet away from the vertex. Okay, third problem. This involves an ellipse. Okay, a tunnel has a shape of a semi-ellipse, which is kalahati ng, of course, ellipse, that is 15 feet high at the center and 36 feet across the base. Okay, for example, ayan, so since wala tayong tunnel sa school, I just downloaded a picture from the internet. So for example, this is our tunnel, and the tunnel is 36 across, which means from the middle, from the center, that is 18 feet. That is 18 feet. And that is 15 feet high. Okay, though it may not be obvious in our illustration, the vertical movement should be shorter than the horizontal movement. Next, at most, how high should the passing truck be if it is 12 feet wide? Okay, for example, nag-aalangan ka kung kakasya ba yung truck mo sa tunnel na yon, at sinukat mo yung truck mo, and then the width is, for example, we have 12 feet, which means kalahati is we have 6 feet. Isosolve natin kung magkakasya ba yung truck mo dun sa tunnel given at this dimension. Okay, since we know that since mas mahaba yung horizontal kaysa sa vertical, our general form of equation is, okay, we have x squared all over a squared plus y squared all over b squared is equal to 1. So that is our equation when the horizontal movement is longer than the vertical movement. Next, at this particular point, ito, that is considered as our major axis. So, ibig sabihin, yung point na to is one of our vertices. Yung point na to is one of our covertices, which means that that is A, and yung height dito, that is B. So, we have A is equal to 18 and B is equal to 15. Substituting our values in the given general form, that is x squared all over 18 squared plus y squared all over 15 squared is equal to 1. So that is your equation for the semi-ellipse. Now, what if kukunin natin yung height when the horizontal movement here is 6 feet, which means that what is the value of y when x is equal to 6 feet. So we can make use of this equation. So we have substitute the value of x, 6 squared all over 18 squared plus y squared. So wala pa tayong value ng y, yan ang hinahanap natin. All over 15 squared is equal to 1. Next, we can manipulate our given equation. Transpose natin dyan. So we have y squared all over 15 squared is equal to 1. From positive, itatranspose natin magiging negative or minus 6 squared all over 18 squared. Next, kailangan natin i-isolate yung variable natin dyan. So, kailangan natin tanggalin itong 15 na yan. So, paano natin tatanggalin? I-cross-multiply lang natin. So, we have from the denominator, pag cross-multiply, magiging numerator 1 minus 6 squared all over 18 squared. Next, use your calculator. 15 squared times 1 minus 6 squared. Okay, that is y squared is equal to 200. Since we're looking for the value of y, we take the square root of 200, and square root of 200 is equal to 10 square root of 2, or y is approximately, again, pag sinabi natin approximately, hindi siya yung exact value, but we try to approximate the value of the square root of 200, which is in decimal, we have 14.14 feet, which means that kung meron kang track na 12 feet wide, dapat ang maximum height niya, maximum na yon, hindi dapat lalagpas sa 14.4 feet. That is our lesson for today. Thank you for watching and see you on the next video.